This is an unusual feature of my house. And on today's vlog, I'm going to talk about some stuff I haven't really talked about. There's been a scale on this corner for quite a long time. As you can see, it's chipped up the paint on the woodwork there. I have two scales because I couldn't trust this one. And I went through a kind of a weight loss journey. And so I really needed to know what was going on. So I had to buy this one. Let's talk about that. In the course of the past year, not quite a year and a half, but year, because I didn't really get serious about it until about a year ago. I lost 60 pounds. I'm up about 5 or so. But I had reached the maximum weight in my life. We have to weigh in and get blood drawn and stuff for work as a part of our health insurance and all that good stuff. We call it Be Well Within. And when I stepped on the scale, of course, fully dressed, I took out my phone and my wallet. I emptied my pockets, took off my shoes. I was still unbelievably big. So let's show you some pictures of Dave when he was unbelievably big. This channel hasn't been about that. I've been writing about that. I've got a blog that I can link to with all the details and all the scale pictures. I still take a photo of the scale every day and just kind of save it and track it. I have an Excel spreadsheet so I can see where my weight is going. And I also have a third Instagram account that I haven't really told people about, but it's out there for this as well, which I've been posting to lately because I've been kind of in a stasis mode. I've been gaining and losing the same 5 or 4 or 3 whatever pounds, depending upon the week, over and over again, and just gaining and losing that. So there hasn't really been a need to post some stuff. I do occasionally. You've seen me throw a little snippet here and there of some exercise as I'm in the fall ramping things up. It's just been too bloody hot to do a lot of stuff. But I just wanted to talk about today. The main thing that I want to talk about as I'm discussing this with you all is the idea that it was simple but not easy. A lot of things in life are simple, but they're not easy. Those are two completely different things. Having a garden is simple, but it's not necessarily easy because you have to take care of the plants. Growing tomatoes and peppers is simple. You buy a pot, you get some soil, stick a plant in the ground, you water it. When you start multiplying the amount of effort that it takes to grow a whole garden worth of plants and maintain a landscape, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. So what's my point? For me, and the experience that I've been through after being a little on the big side, I think, for most of my life, even when I was in high school, I mean, I would kill to get down to my high school weight, but my high school weight was still 20, 30 pounds more than what the other guys weighed in high school. So I wasn't skinny when I was in high school. After a lifetime of stops and starts, the simple thing was track what I was eating. And I use an app for that, MyFitnessPal. A lot of people have it, but I had to rigorously track what I was eating. If it went in my mouth, I tracked it and limited my calories. But the thing for me that made the difference, that helped me break a lifetime of bad food habits and snacking habits, it kind of reset my relationship with food, was intermittent fasting. I downloaded the Zero app, and because I had an app on my phone that I was hitting the button when I stopped eating for the day and wasn't going to eat again for 16 hours, it changed my relationship with food. don't get me wrong, what you eat is very important. This is a friend of mine. But how much you eat really is the kicker. So I'm throwing down the challenge to you, if this is an issue in your life and you want to talk about it in the comments down below, that's great. But I would challenge you to download an app. It doesn't have to be MyFitnessPal. That one has a lot of food, and just without any judgment, if you eat it, put it in there, accurately track it. Restaurant stuff is in there. You can scan all of your grocery items. And if not, find something that's the close equivalent. Figure out, approximately how many calories a club sandwich has in it. And then if you can't find the club sandwich from the deli that you go to, like I do, then this is probably a 480 calorie sandwich. So put that one in there. So first, that's what you need to do, is you need to be honest and track what you're putting in your body. I think once you do that, you'll discover that you actually are eating more than you think you're eating. We're all horrible estimators, and we make little bargains with ourselves that, I parked my car further away and I walked a little extra today, so I deserve the treat. Maybe, right? But once you start actually tracking your food and knowing how much you're putting in, that's when you can start making those little bargains. So if you're trying to keep it within, you're an active person and you need 2,500 calories a day, that's great. You can eat the cookie that's 300 calories, and you just know that you just have to eat a little less as long as it fits within the budget. That will make a difference. But trust me, what's going to happen after you do that for a week and you maybe start being honest about it, then you'll start being honest about what you're putting in your body, and you'll start making those deals like, is it worth the cookie? I've only got 2,000 calories that I can take in today. Is this cookie worth 300 of those 2,000 calories? Another thing that actually does work for me is the carb thing. I first started last spring, a year ago, when I first stepped on the scale and got the shock of my life. I immediately went as hardcore keto as I possibly could. I refused a lot of donuts. Oh, it was torture. And I dropped 10 pounds in a week. Actually, 8 days, maybe something like that. But either way, 10 pounds in a week. I was actually training at the time a group of ladies. There was one guy in the room and they were like, "Oh, really? You're doing that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got to do something." And after the end of the week, they were, "Oh, you man, of course you did that. That would never work for me." It was pretty funny. I would say it would work for you. The most important thing, though, is you have to figure out why you need to do this. Why? Why? Are you unhealthy? Are you unhappy? Is food loved? Are you shielding something? Are you putting on the pounds to put people away? Do you have self-control issues? Do you have kids and you want to be able to play with the kids? Have you looked at your parents and your parents died early? Mine died pretty early. I don't want to be that. I want the lifestyle choices, at least, to not be a factor, so that the only thing I'm wrestling with is my genetics. Figure that out. You got to figure that out, and you have to be honest with yourself. Second, then, you have to figure out what works for you, because keto doesn't work for everybody. Low carbing, it doesn't work for everybody. Fasting doesn't work for everybody. Different people respond differently to different foods based on who you are, your family heritage, your genetic makeup. So unfortunately, this is where it's simple, but it's not easy. It takes some work to figure out how your body reacts to certain foods. I'll eat a donut, but it shows up on the scale. So here's MyFitnessPal. All right. I've got a 2,000 calorie goal, and I haven't eaten anything today. It's synced to my Apple Watch through MyFitnessPal and then MapMyFitness. So it collects my steps, and if I go to MapMyFitness and track an exercise session, which I've done, those calories go in here, so it offsets, so it lets you know kind of what your total is. All right, I've logged in for 320 days in a row, so I've been taking this that seriously for just almost a year. That's really when I started the fasting and starting doing this absolutely on a daily basis. So I'll go to my diary. All right, so this is how it works, right? In breakfast, I would just add a food, and it's going to pull up my most recent things. As you can see right here, I can scan a barcode. So if I'm eating Cheerios, I can eat Cheerios. I'd scan the barcode. Or I'm just going to pick from something here. Let's say I had one of these Cliff Bars, which is a staple around here. It's 260 calories. It's way too many carbs, but it is actually good energy. It lasts in your gut for a while, better than eating a cookie that's 260 calories because it's got 10 grams of protein in there as well. And I just, pick my servings and I add it on there. It suggests frequently paired foods at the bottom if that's something that you've done. So if you're used to having, Frosted Flakes and milk and you pull up Frosted Flakes, it'll do that for you too. All right, same thing with all of them. Now, I do have my foods in here, so I've created some recipes. I've added things by hand. I've also created meals where this is something that we cook frequently. We have this curry chicken salad. I make that a lot. Okay, well, that's the total calories for all of the ingredients I added, like this chili. I mean, this is a whole pound of ground beef. It's a whole can of beans. It's a whole can of everything. So the whole meal, the whole dish is 2,224 calories. So then I just say, okay, well, I ate a quarter of that. I had 1/4 of that, and that's my serving. And all of that then adds up, and I get my total calories for the day. You can find it, you can add it. This will reveal what you're doing in your diet. All right. Now, you can do a lot of stuff too here, right? It'll track your progress, but you can do stuff. I can put what I put in here in my profile is I have also added, it's been a while since I did it. Maybe it's been the nutrition. Yeah, so it'll break it all down for you, but it'll look at your macros. And this is free. This is totally free. This is the free version of this, right? So my goal is to only have 25% of my daily calories from carbs, 40% of my daily from fat, and 35% from protein. And I went online and found some calculator based on what my goals are and took a look at my macros. I'm bad at this. I always have too many carbs. I don't get enough fat in my diet, and that's part of that keto thing. You need to figure that out for yourself, and then you just need to input the data, right? You just need to do the work. The other app that I use is the Zero app, and it's just a simple countdown timer, but it tracks your fasts. So the last thing I ate last night was at 7:30. That's when we finished up dinner last night, and so I'm not going to eat again until 11:30. And I've completed 328 fasts. That's how long I've been doing this, almost a year, every day. Now, not every day is not 16 hours, although that's what I shoot for. I mean, let's be realistic. Yesterday, I was starving. I made it 14 hours. Again, there's research in here that you can learn about fasting and different styles of fasting. Some people do 12-12. I'm on a 16-8 kind of plan. And they've got different ones that you can choose. This 13-hour circadian rhythm, 16-hour 8 intermittent. That's one I'm on. Some people do 8. I mean, there's all kinds of different ones that you can choose. But basically, it's just a timer, countdown timer. And what it did was, since I was committed to following the timer, whenever I finished dinner, I stopped the evening snacking. It was hard, but it was simple. I have to listen in on a work call. I'm muted. So he can't hear me, but I'm listening to him. Last week, when I was working from home, I couldn't remember where it was that I wanted to eat lunch. So I had Chinese. This week I remembered. And that's what I got, Izzy's Famous Corned Beef. Gonna really enjoy this Reuben. I did want to point out that it's been busy, so I had to run some errands with my daughter, picking up a car, dropping off a car to get oil change and stuff. So I am an hour and a half over my 16 hours, so I'm really going to enjoy this Reuben and this potato pancake. Here we go. Lost all 3. That's a bummer. Now we're going to zoom to Choir. It's a gorgeous sunset. As you can see, the sun hitting the clouds behind me because I went for that exposure rather than nice and bright on my face. All right, this is it. Like, subscribe, ring that bell if you want to get notified. Apparently that makes a difference. Comment down below, and hey, tell people, right? Yeah, feel free to share that there's some crazy guy from Cincinnati who's just some dad who's posting on YouTube all the time. I keep looking at me and not at you, so I'm looking at you right now. All right, take care. Make your day. Seriously, check that sky. That is fantastic.